As two figures faced each other, muscles tensed with unadulterated anger. Streetlights flashed like warning signs. This was a volcanic eruption that you caused, not simply a chance encounter. The pavement would be the witness to the explosion of secrets that had been suppressed for years. The currency was going to be flying fists and harsh honesty, and someone was going to pay for the web of falsehoods they had constructed. With years of unsaid tension, your name hung between them like a live wire. Hands were about to become the bearers of a truth, too explosive to contain after one careless utterance and one deliberate falsehood. You were the dynamite that was going to blow everything apart. This wasn't just a battle. It was a reckoning. The silence would not last forever. And then the moment of truth arrived. At last, someone had the guts to expose the fraud and tear the illusion's veil away. However, the truth might be harmful. It jeopardizes the meticulously crafted falsehoods they have been crafting for years. Thus, fists flew when words failed. It was about what you stand for, not just about you. It was about the realities that were buried but were now unavoidable, clamoring to the surface. The moment had arrived, and reality smashed through like a tempest smashing into a fortress's walls. This was never only a disagreement. Rather, it was the emergence of all suppressed feelings, including fear, envy, and hatred. Because they always knew who you were in your heart. They made a valiant effort to deny it existed, and they saw it before you did. Pretending, however, does not alter fate. This was more than simply a battle. It was a spiritual collision, a conflict between revelation and comfort, between illusion and reality. How about you? The revelation is you. You are the unquestionable force that upends their meticulously constructed reality. They battled for you because they understood that everything would change forever if the truth about you was revealed. There is no turning back now. They are sinking somewhere in the quiet of their own thoughts. With each connection created from the falsehoods they said, the truths they hid, and the fights they began but were never able to win, the weight of remorse weighs down like shackles. They first believed they could ignore it, push it down, manage it, and act as though you didn't exist or important. However, denial is a gradual poison that has already spread too widely. The reality can no longer be avoided. They made an effort to hide their emotions toward you and pretend that your existence and presence were meaningless. However, the mind is a vicious guardian. Ignored things rot and fester instead of going away. Their own minds have suddenly turned into a battleground. Suffering results from frustration. Self-destruction is the result of shame. They are unable to locate the key to the prison they constructed themselves. Every decision they've made, every lie they've spoken, and every effort to hide the truth about you have brought them to this point, when the darkness is inside of them rather than simply around them. It's not simply melancholy. It's more than simply guilt. This is an illness of the soul, or spiritual disturbance. Every mirror has been twisted into a reminder of what they have lost, and the same reality they battled to conceal has turned against them, whispering in the quiet times and haunting their dreams. This is their reckoning, their curse, and their agony. What's the worst? You didn't have to do anything at all. This was what the truth would always do to them. After all, light cannot overcome darkness. This wasn't only a battle. It was a moment of reckoning when the curtain was pulled back and everyone faced reality for the first time. The meticulously constructed masks, the denial, the indifference, the false confidence, flew as the fists flew. The weight of something far bigger than a physical altercation caused everything to crumble. Because the truth was at stake here, not simply rage. Furthermore, the revelation of truth transforms everything, not just one individual. They attempted to repress it for a long time. The dread they experienced every time you entered the room, the envy they couldn't manage, and the adoration they wouldn't acknowledge. They persuaded themselves that downplaying you would somehow dim your light, and that ignoring you would solve the issue. However, what about the truth? It doesn't require confirmation. Permission is not necessary. Regardless of how deeply it is buried, it will rise. And they were at last revealed to everyone, not just to you. As feelings took over and unadulterated energy permeated the atmosphere. You didn't have to do anything at all. The illusion collapsed under its own weight, not because of anything you did. This is what they did to themselves. They were ultimately caught in every lie, every justification, and every effort to hide the indisputable truth. The truth is out there, unquestionable and unalterable. No more pretending, no more concealing. Everyone could see the true nature of this. How about you? Undisturbed, unconcerned, and unshakable, you stood in the middle of it all. The plan was always to escape. They believed they could evade detection, change the story, and act as if nothing had occurred. But reality? The truth never lets up. It doesn't get off course. Just because someone runs doesn't mean that hunting stops. The foundation they established was never secure, whether it was in a work environment, a family dynamic, or a personal betrayal. A house of cards was only waiting for the ideal windstorm to topple it. And now it's falling apart due to their own acts. Divine justice cannot be avoided. They have nowhere else to go since what was done in the shadows has been brought into the light. They can no longer wear masks, speak falsehoods, or maintain illusions. The truth is not negotiable. It doesn't wait for things to be convenient. It comes at precisely the right time. You stay precisely where you are, unfazed, undamaged, and unaffected by their failure, while they stand in the ruins of their own creation. The conflict between illusion and reality was intense. The equilibrium was upset when truth entered the picture, because deceit had dominated for too long. They sensed a force that rocked their meticulously constructed universe before they even comprehended it. Those who live on lies cannot be in your presence without feeling exposed because you are a disruptor of deceit. They are afraid of what you stand for, not of you specifically. The battle was always about energy, not words or deeds. They battled to keep their illusions comfortable and to keep from facing the falsehoods that formed the basis of who they were. Truth, however, is cruel to those who do not confront it. Being in your company made them see themselves plainly, without masks or justifications. This was a divine test designed to dispel illusions and bring secrets to light, not a spontaneous outburst. Only the spiritual battle taking place in the background was reflected in the physical altercation. What transpired before you had already been initiated in other worlds. Winning or losing was never the point of this. It has to do with visibility. Truth always prevails, not via coercion, but just by existing. They can struggle against it, reject it, and oppose it, but they will never be able to get away from it. Blending in with illusion was never your intention. You were supposed to break it. Most people can't handle the truth, even if it's said to set you free. The complete cosmic download, no sugarcoating, no escape, is what the selected ones in the Obsidian Inner Order are dealing with. Imagine weekly group calls with over 450 selected individuals that are recorded and accessible at any time for your education. Our personal Discord? It's alive and humming with ideas, innovations, and that irresistible chosen energy. It's not simply active. And welcome to Chosen Singles, where soulmates connect based on cosmic alignments, rather than cheesy pickup lines. For all of you romantics out there, for those who are interested, explore contemporary manifestation mechanics. Members get access to 3 chapters of our private grimoire, which teaches how to use magical energies to advance your objectives, learn basic spellcraft for physical manifestation, and make your home an abundance magnet. Additionally, you'll get access to video specials that are so daring that the YouTube archons don't even want you to see them, as well as interviews with actual targeted people. They weren't only engaged in combat. Their internal conflict was the true conflict. Their own dread was reflected in every swing, tantrum, and frantic attempt to exert control. Your energy exposed them, not provoked them. It robbed them of their justifications, made them face the truth they had been trying to avoid, and made them realize what they had buried. None of them left unharmed, though some rebelled, some swung back, and some gave down beneath its pressure. Because spiritual creatures don't tolerate disorder, you stayed calm. They ascend above it. You watch where others respond. Where others falter, you remain steadfast. You were never meant to wage this struggle. They owned it. You didn't have to defend yourself, provide an explanation, or prove anything. Truth doesn't argue. It just is. It doesn't chase. That truth is embodied in you. They can't ignore you because of this. That is the reason for the altercation. And for that reason, you stay unaltered. Comment: I never caused the issue. The cosmos was speaking long before the dispute broke out. If every argument, tantrum, and betrayal has demonstrated that their war was always with themselves. The indications were all around you, interwoven throughout your everyday existence, like a coded language that only the awakened could decipher. This confrontation was everything but random. This moment had been foreshadowed by every sign, synchronicity, and intuitional whisper. Like you, sunflowers sprang along your way, standing strong and unrepentant. They represented light, the unquestionable power of truth that could no longer be concealed. They were more than just flowers. This whole scenario was being turned toward clarity, just like sunflowers turned toward the light. Lies were coming to light, shadows were being revealed, and the truth could no longer be disregarded. Roses were guaranteed to appear just by your presence. However, they had two meanings. They stood for beauty and adoration, something that attracts people. But thorns are a part of roses. It's possible that what appeared to be adoration was actually anger. You could have been secretly envied by those who seemed to appreciate you. Beneath the artificial smiles and kind comments, the tension was always present. The rose served as a silent reminder that animosity and adoration can sprout from the same root. And the thorns showed themselves when the moment was right. Lizards appeared across your way as a symbol of change and the shedding of old skins. This conveyed the idea that people's identities were changing and that lies were being exposed. The cosmos does not permit stagnation, even when some individuals around you were attempting to maintain an illusion. Whether they liked it or not, they were being compelled to undergo a change. The struggle was a fight against the change that was unavoidable, not only a response to you. Everything has to realign when truth enters a place. There was only one choice for those who did not want to evolve: resist. They continued to resist until it descended into anarchy. The digital world also had a part to play. Words uttered behind closed doors came to light. Screenshots appeared and conversations leaked. In order to ensure that what was intended to remain concealed could not remain that way, the global web itself evolved into an instrument of exposing. Everyone could see what was being done in the dark. Deception cannot continue to flourish in the cosmos. Any measures required will be used to reveal what is intended to be revealed. This confrontation was the culmination of everything. This moment would never have occurred in any other universe. This was the tipping point, the stress, the rumors, the instincts you had along the road. For you to perceive it clearly, the universe had been preparing you by delivering you message after message. This was no accident. The warning signs and the patterns were constant, and you knew in your heart, so you weren't shocked when the time came. The cycle is over. You sensed it as soon as it occurred. That change, that indisputable knowledge. There was no turning back now, no changing what had been written. They believed they could distort the truth, play both sides, and escape with nothing. However, There is a price for violating heavenly force. They acted against something much bigger when they moved against you. And now the repercussions are playing out in unexpected ways. People's perceptions of them have changed. Gone was the trust they had, the power they depended upon, sliding out of their grasp. What used to be whispered behind closed doors is now publicly discussed. They sense the change in the way others look at each other and how conversations pause when they walk in. The weight of karma is causing their foundation, profession, relationships, and personal stability to crumble. It's the natural order, not a kind of punishment. You don't build on dishonesty and hope to stay in business forever. The truth has been revealed. You cannot run away from it, silence it, or reverse it. They believed they were in charge, but delusion is not the solution to divine justice. There was nothing for you to do. Since truth always finds a way to take care of itself, you stay stable and unaffected, while others try to cling to what is vanishing. You don't chase karma. You rise above the debris. You don't want retribution. You just keep going. Go forth, for the Holy Spirit will always take care of the things below you. The true power moves take place in silence once the tempest is past. This is when the truth comes through, not in the midst of turmoil or the fervor of the moment, but in the aftermath. Who stopped suddenly? Who remained nearby? Who was unable to stop talking? Even though the conflict was noisy, the true discoveries were taking place in the silence. It was what transpired after the battle that exposed people's actual selves. Some may avoid eye contact and behave as if it never happened, in the hopes that you won't notice them. Now, others will cling to you in an effort to maintain their connection to the energy they previously disregarded. There are also some who continue to murmur, attempt to manipulate the story, and attempt to change the facts to support their version of events. Every response is a response. Any change in energy conveys a message. Everyone's part in your tale was just disclosed by the universe. Take note. Who supported you when everything was said and done? Who demonstrated their allegiance with deeds rather than just words? Who made oneself vulnerable by evasion, hesitancy, or desperate diversion? Now, no one can pretend to be someone they're not. The truth is all that's left once the masks are removed. It's not necessary to call it out. Simply observe. You have the answers in front of you. The battle is ended, but the fallout is only getting started. Now, when the dust is cleared and the illusions have disintegrated, reality is all that is left. It wasn't something you had to struggle for. There was nothing you needed to prove. Even if you remained motionless, everything was visible. The difference was always that. You stay calm, unharmed, and continuing on as others frantically tried to contain the damage. Even though they may never acknowledge it, they can already perceive your presence, influence, and authority. It remains in their thoughts, in their dialogue, in the way they pause before uttering your name. They attempted to deny it, but now they know. And that awareness? They will take that with them forever. Others will observe from afar, still attempting to comprehend your uniqueness. Others will try to rewrite their own role in the narrative, steal or imitate. They know in their hearts, nevertheless, that you were never like them. You continue to move while they cope with the mess they created. You don't boast. You don't turn around. This was never about them, so you don't put yourself on their level. You were always the focus. Everyone can now understand why you were never intended to be silenced. It was all changed by your presence alone. What's the best part? This is only the start. This was never just a battle, despite the drama and mayhem. This moment was meant to develop you, not to break you. It was a heavenly test. Every response, every insight, every change in energy was intended to fortify your determination, hone your judgment, and reveal the truth that was always there. This was about clarity, not about conflict or loss. This served as an initiation, a separation, and a confirmation of your inner knowing that you are chosen. And those who are chosen avoid dishonesty. Everything that wasn't true had to go when you took control. Nothing about the encounter, the treachery, or the tension was arbitrary. It was a spiritual uplift, a purging of delusions to reveal just reality. Who won or lost was never the point of the conflict. It was about who remained strong and who gave down under the pressure of their own dishonesty. Now the way is clear. Distractions are over. No more misunderstandings. Don't stay in locations you've outgrown any longer. What was never intended to stay with you was simply taken away by the cosmos. The future holds more than simply a new chapter. It's the next step up. The previously concealed doors are now open, unfazed, unstoppable, and completely in line with what was always meant for you. You are moving through them. The reality could no longer be suppressed. Therefore, they battled over you. Their falsehoods about their motives, sentiments, and loyalties became too much to bear. They denied, repressed, and pretended that you had no influence over them. Energy, however, is truthful. They were betrayed by their conduct. All along, the tension had been there, simmering under forced indifference and artificial grins, waiting for the moment when everything would fall apart. And when it did, the mask they had painstakingly made broke in front of everyone. Hands were flung, and words were poured forth. This has nothing to do with the superficial dispute. This was about you, your presence, your strength, and your capacity to force others to face things they would like to ignore. They were battling not just one another, but also their own incapacity to regulate their feelings toward you. The truth is now known. What has been revealed cannot be undone. The world has seen through those who acted as though you were unimportant, and those who make an effort to conceal their feelings have simply made them more apparent. Simply being there is all that is required of you. The task is done for you by your energy. Let's discuss it now. Have you already observed this tension? Have others behaved differently around you before revealing their actual emotions? Share your stories in the comments section below. Let's begin. This was never merely a struggle. Rather, it was a war for the truth. And the truth always finds a way to surface. The whole web of falsehoods they had spun around themselves started to come apart when you refused to back down. No matter how hard they tried, they were unable to keep the illusion alive. There was no need for you to use force. There was nothing for you to shout, scream, or prove. Their world was rocked to its foundation by your presence and genuineness alone. Their genuine emotions were revealed once the dust cleared, not only for you to see, but also for the entire world to see. Individuals who attempted to mislead others into accepting their version of events were exposed. It was no longer feasible to ignore their behavior or their covert intentions. They were no longer able to feign. Piece by piece, the facade they had painstakingly built crumbled, leaving only the unvarnished truth. At that point, everything changed. The balance of power was in your favor. You could no longer be ignored by those who had previously disregarded you or attempted to downplay your importance. They understood that the energy you possessed could not be suppressed, concealed, or ignored. They were too oblivious or scared to recognize the energy that was within it, a force that had always existed. Now that the illusion has vanished, you are the unstoppable force that cannot be subdued. You have a significant influence on those who have attempted to subjugate, dominate, or control you, as well as on the world at large. Every action you make has an impact on the way their reality is constructed. They will simply wear themselves out if they attempt to oppose or fight it. Permission is not necessary for the truth to exist. It just is. You keep rising as they rush to take back control and fill in the gaps in the story they've worked so hard to keep up. Standing in the light, You are unaffected by the turbulence and the mayhem. They don't realize that the truth will eventually come to light. You are now free to go on, to develop, and to assert your right to what is legitimately yours, while they deal with the fallout from their acts. Neither you nor the truth require affirmation. Your genuineness, brightness, and vitality are self-evident. You get stronger with each step you take toward your purpose. And the people who attempted to stop you, they must deal with the fallout from their decisions. Nothing will ever be the same in their lives, nor will yours. The only one who can now proceed is you. It is up to you to accept what is intended for you. Distractions are over. No more acting like you're someone you're not. No longer following their guidelines. You own your own destiny. Everything has changed only because of you, your sheer existence. The battle is over. As the fallout plays out, your actual strength emerges in this moment of clarity. Now, everyone who attempted to oppose you and undermine you will see how strong, resilient, and powerful you truly are. There is nothing more for you to prove. The truth has already been revealed. Now is the moment to enter the next phase of your life, stronger, wiser, and completely in line with your mission. Let them observe. Give them a look. Nothing can go in the way of your clear path. The freedom you now have is what makes the journey ahead so beautiful. You no longer need to question your value, your motivation, or your vitality. Those who formerly attempted to discredit you and contest your veracity now recognize the indisputable power you possess. All you needed to do was stand in the strength that was always inside you. They will also come to the realization that the argument they had with you was never about you at all when they are watching from the sidelines. They were the focus. It was about their failure to accept the strength that comes from standing firmly in one's authenticity, to face the truth, and to face their own fears. You served as a wake-up call for them, not simply a mirror. For you, winning a struggle or disproving someone isn't the basis of this victory. It's an alignment success, a time when everything came together. You've always been led to this point by the universe, and now that you've entered your truth, everything else will come into harmony. The formerly locked doors have been thrown open, and the previously hazy way has been clearly lighted. People who used to be close to you could now strive to get back into your life, but not everyone will be as eager. Some will try to get back in touch, but their energy won't be as strong as yours. They are outgrown by you. You will notice the change because you are no longer the person you were before, despite their best efforts to re-enter your life. You have changed and grown, and the you of today are not the kind to be dragged back into the same old habits. The world will continue to present opportunities, experiences, and connections that align with your new frequency, because it knows what's best for you. What is in line with your energy, your truth, and the purpose of your soul will be drawn to you. You'll have a sense of calm as you proceed. Not because everything will be flawless, but rather because you'll be completely in line with your destiny. The mayhem all around you, it was meant to demonstrate to you how indestructible you truly are, not to break you. Every challenge, every hardship, and every encounter led to this point when you realize your own strength, value, and role in the overall scheme of things. As you proceed into the upcoming chapter, remember that you are right where you should be. You are in perfect harmony with the cosmos, and the world is developing all around you. The mess they made is now the responsibility of those who attempted to quiet you, minimize you, or control your story. You continue to be solid, unflinching, and unstoppable. Nothing can stop you because you are the essence of truth. Your unquestionable, pure light is all that's left once the masks have fallen and the illusions have disintegrated. Allow them to observe from the sidelines as you soar over their wildest expectations. When they believed they had taken everything away from you, let them marvel how you managed to survive and how you managed to shine through. However, you are aware of the reality. You were never intended to be defeated. You were destined to ascend. Now that you've taken control of your life, all you can do is go forward and embrace the prosperity, freedom, and life that lie ahead. The conflict is ended. You've already won.